Welcome to Learn English with Podcast Conversation. I'm Jennifer, and I'm here with my co-host, Thomas. Today, we're diving into a topic that so many English learners face, the fear of speaking English. It's a challenge that can make even the most prepared learners feel nervous, right, Thomas?
Absolutely, Jennifer. It's incredibly common. Whether it's speaking in front of a group or just having a casual chat with a native speaker, that fear can make your mind go blank. But the good news is that there are ways to manage it and even overcome it. We'll share practical tips that can help boost your confidence and make speaking English feel a lot less scary.
Exactly. And remember, everyone feels nervous when they're learning a new language. It's normal. Our goal today is to give you tools that help you feel more comfortable and confident when speaking. We'll talk about strategies like practicing regularly, starting with simpler conversations, and using positive self-talk. One of the first tips I'd suggest is to start with small conversations. When you're beginning, even just saying hello or asking simple questions can be a huge confidence boost. It doesn't have to be a long, complicated conversation to count as practice.
Right, Jennifer, and even simple exchanges help train your brain to think in English without feeling overwhelmed. Small steps lead to big improvements. You can start by asking for directions, ordering coffee, or making small talk with a coworker. Every bit helps.
Another tip is to find a safe practice partner. This could be a friend, family member, or a language exchange buddy. Practicing with someone who is patient and supportive can make speaking less intimidating.
And don't forget about online resources. There are so many apps and language exchange sites where you can connect with other learners or native speakers. Sometimes talking to a stranger can be easier because there's less pressure to be perfect.
Another effective technique is using positive self-talk. I know it might sound a little funny, but telling yourself, "I can do this," or "I'm making progress" can change your mindset and make you feel more capable.
Yes, it's all about boosting your confidence. Often, the biggest barrier isn't your English ability but your mindset. Positive self-talk helps you shift from thinking "I'm going to mess up" to "I'm learning and mistakes are okay."
Exactly. And it's important to remember that mistakes are part of the learning process. No one expects you to speak perfectly. Native speakers make mistakes all the time too, so you're not alone.
Definitely, and Jennifer, another tip I've found helpful is recording yourself speaking. It might feel strange at first, but hearing your own voice can help you notice areas for improvement and track your progress over time.
I love that idea, Thomas. Recording yourself can also help you get used to how you sound in English, which is a big part of feeling comfortable. It's like practicing a presentation or preparing for an interview. The more you do it, the easier it feels.
Exactly, and if recording yourself feels intimidating, you could also start by talking to yourself in English. Describe what you're doing or talk through your thoughts in English. This kind of thinking out loud practice can help you feel more natural when speaking to others.
Another great strategy is to set small goals. Instead of aiming to speak perfectly, focus on saying 1 or 2 sentences clearly. Maybe try introducing yourself or sharing your favorite hobby. Breaking it down into small parts makes it easier to build your confidence gradually.
Yes, setting small, achievable goals is key. It also makes it easier to recognize your progress, which can keep you motivated. And with each small success, you'll feel more comfortable and ready to tackle bigger conversations.
And let's not forget the power of body language. Making eye contact, smiling, and using open gestures can make you appear more confident, even if you feel nervous inside. It can also make the person you're talking to feel more at ease.
Body language really does make a difference. Standing up straight, keeping your shoulders relaxed, and speaking slowly can help you feel more in control of the conversation. It also shows the other person that you're engaged and open to communicating.
Another technique is to remind yourself that most people are supportive and appreciate the effort you're making to speak their language. Remember, it's okay to let them know you're learning. They'll often be more patient and understanding.
Absolutely. In fact, people are usually impressed when someone is learning their language. It shows courage and dedication, and most people are happy to help if you're honest about your learning journey.
Finally, don't be afraid to ask for feedback. If you're comfortable, you can ask friends, teachers, or language partners to help correct your mistakes. Getting feedback can help you grow and feel more prepared for future conversations.
And if asking for feedback feels like too much, start with asking about one or two phrases or words that you're not sure about. You don't have to ask for corrections on everything, just focus on areas where you want to improve.
That's a great tip, Thomas. And remember, feedback is there to help, not criticize. It's part of the learning process, and it can give you insight into areas you might not have noticed on your own.
And over time, you'll see that these little adjustments make a big difference. Every bit of feedback is a step closer to speaking English with confidence.
Let's dive into another helpful tip, which is practicing with role-playing exercises. By acting out different scenarios, like ordering at a restaurant or introducing yourself at a party, you can build confidence in specific situations. This way, when the real moment comes, it doesn't feel so intimidating.
That's a great idea, Jennifer. Role-playing can make a huge difference. You're essentially rehearsing real-life situations in a low-pressure setting. It's a safe way to explore responses, experiment with vocabulary, and practice handling different types of conversations.
And the more you practice, the less you'll need to think about what to say on the spot. These exercises help your brain get used to forming responses quickly. Over time, your reactions become more natural, and you don't have to worry as much about finding the right words.
Exactly. I also think it's valuable to practice with different accents or speed of speech. Try listening to various speakers, especially native ones with distinct accents. This will help you get comfortable with different English sounds and help you respond confidently in any situation.
Another tip I recommend is surrounding yourself with English as much as possible. Try to watch TV shows, listen to podcasts, or read books in English. This constant exposure will help you internalize the language, making it easier to think in English rather than translating.
Yes, Jennifer, immersing yourself in English is so powerful. You start picking up on common phrases, expressions, and sentence structures naturally. It also keeps your mind in English mode, which can be a big help when you're practicing speaking.
And when you hear new vocabulary or phrases, try using them in your own sentences. Experimenting with new words or expressions helps cement them in your memory, and you'll feel more comfortable using them in conversations.
Plus, it's a fun way to learn. You're actively engaging with the language, so it feels more personal and enjoyable. And you'll see improvement faster because you're not just studying English, you're living it.
Thomas, let's talk about using affirmations or mental reminders to stay calm before speaking. If you're feeling anxious, you could remind yourself that it's okay to make mistakes and that you're here to learn. Positive affirmations can ease your nerves and boost your self-confidence.
That's a fantastic suggestion, Jennifer. Simple reminders like, I'm doing my best, or I don't need to be perfect to communicate can take the pressure off. Many people feel like they have to speak flawlessly, but that's not true. Communication is about connection, not perfection.
Exactly, and sometimes just taking a deep breath before speaking can help center your thoughts. Breathing deeply slows down your heart rate and helps you focus, making it easier to remember the words you want to say.
And remember, people are generally patient and supportive, especially if they know you're learning. They appreciate the effort you're making to speak their language. So take a breath, give yourself some grace, and start speaking with confidence.
A practical tip for those moments when you're speaking but get stuck is to use fillers like "let me think" or "that's a good question." These phrases give you a moment to organize your thoughts without awkward silence.
Great point. Fillers are a useful tool for pausing gracefully. They give you a few extra seconds to think of your response. Native speakers use fillers all the time, so it's completely natural and it doesn't disrupt the conversation flow.
And if you forget a word or phrase, don't panic. Instead, try to explain it in simpler words or use gestures. The person you're talking to will likely understand what you mean, even if it's not perfect.
Exactly. Sometimes creativity and quick thinking can carry you through a conversation. And if you can communicate your idea, that's what matters most. Each time you work through a tough moment, it builds confidence for future conversations.
Let's discuss the importance of reflecting on your progress. After a conversation, take a few moments to think about what went well and what you'd like to improve. Recognizing small achievements can boost your motivation and show you how far you've come.
I completely agree. Jennifer, self-reflection is key. Instead of focusing on mistakes, try to acknowledge your successes. It's easy to feel discouraged, but every positive step, no matter how small, is worth celebrating.
And keep a journal if it helps. Writing down things you learned, new phrases, or moments you felt proud of can be a great way to track your journey and see how much progress you're making over time.
Journaling is fantastic because it lets you visualize your growth. Plus, it's a great resource to look back on for motivation. Whenever you feel uncertain, you can read through your journal and remind yourself of all the progress you've made.
One last piece of advice is to embrace the idea of trial and error. Language learning isn't linear, and it's okay to have ups and downs. The important thing is to keep trying, even if it feels challenging at times.
Absolutely. Every mistake is just a lesson in disguise. You're building resilience, and each time you get back up and keep going, you're getting closer to becoming fluent. It's a journey, not a race.
And remember, speaking English is a skill that gets easier with time and practice. The more you allow yourself to make mistakes and learn from them, the more confident and natural your English will become.
That's a wonderful way to put it, Jennifer. So, to everyone listening, be kind to yourself. Enjoy the learning process and don't be afraid to speak up, even if it's imperfect.
Another useful technique is setting small, achievable goals. Rather than aiming for complete fluency, try focusing on specific goals like speaking with a friend in English for 5 minutes or ordering food in English. Small victories help build momentum and confidence.
I love that idea, Jennifer. When you focus on manageable steps, each success boosts your motivation. It's like building a staircase where each small goal is a step that brings you closer to confidence in English.
And as you meet these small goals, you'll feel more ready to tackle bigger challenges. Each step reinforces the skills you're learning, which makes the next step feel less daunting.
Right, it also helps create a habit. The more regularly you practice, the more natural it becomes. Over time, those small goals add up to major improvements without overwhelming you along the way.
Thomas, let's talk about finding a language buddy. Practicing with someone you trust can make a big difference, especially if they're also learning. You can motivate each other, share tips, and practice speaking without judgment.
Absolutely, Jennifer. Having a language buddy is incredibly helpful. You're both in the same boat, so there's less pressure. Plus, you can celebrate each other's successes and work through challenges together, which makes learning more enjoyable.
And it doesn't have to be every day. Even meeting once a week to chat in English can be beneficial. Consistent, regular practice with a partner keeps you accountable and makes speaking feel more comfortable over time.
Yes, and it can be fun, too. You can make it a casual meetup where you discuss anything like hobbies, work, or weekend plans. The goal is to keep the conversation flowing so you get used to expressing yourself naturally in English.
Another great tip is to use English in your daily thoughts. Try to think in English about simple things like planning your day or describing things around you. This helps train your brain to use English without translating.
That's an excellent exercise. Jennifer, thinking in English is a powerful way to internalize the language. When you're making this mental shift, you become more comfortable forming sentences, which reduces hesitation during conversations.
Exactly. Start with small things, like thinking about what you'll eat or how you feel. Gradually, it'll become a habit, and thinking in English will feel more natural. This mental practice is like silent speaking practice.
And you don't need to worry about making mistakes when you're thinking. It's private practice that can build confidence and prepare you for real conversations.
Another technique is to use voice recording. Try speaking on a topic, record yourself, and then listen. You can notice areas where you feel strong or where you can improve. It's a great way to practice speaking without an audience.
I agree. Listening to your recordings helps you self-correct. It's valuable to hear how you sound, identify areas for improvement, and celebrate your progress. Plus, you can track how much you improve over time.
And it doesn't need to be perfect. Just start with simple sentences and gradually increase the complexity. The goal is to get comfortable with your voice and speaking patterns, so you feel more confident when speaking to others.
Right, and don't be afraid to make mistakes on your recordings. Each one is a learning opportunity. You're building a record of your journey, which can be motivating to look back on as you get better.
Thomas, another strategy that I think is valuable is watching yourself speak in the mirror. This helps you become more aware of your expressions and body language, which are a big part of communication.
Absolutely, Jennifer. Speaking in front of a mirror helps with confidence because you see yourself as others do. It also helps you practice facial expressions and gestures, which can make your communication clearer and more engaging.
And it's a good reminder to smile and look confident, even if you feel nervous. Sometimes, how you present yourself can influence how you feel, so seeing yourself smile can actually make you feel more at ease.
That's true. It's a simple but powerful way to practice. Plus, it helps you feel more comfortable speaking, which can make a real difference when you're in actual conversations.
Let's not forget about using media as practice tools. Watching English movies, TV shows, or YouTube videos can expose you to conversational language. You're not only hearing native pronunciation, but also seeing how words are used in different contexts.
Yes, Jennifer, watching English media is like passive practice that becomes active when you repeat phrases or mimic intonation. It's also a fun way to pick up common expressions and slang so your speech sounds more natural.
And I recommend watching with subtitles first, if needed, then gradually switching them off as you get more comfortable. It can help train your ear to pick up words and phrases, especially if you're watching conversational scenes.
That's a great idea. It helps with both listening and speaking skills. You're exposed to the rhythm and flow of English, which can make it easier to engage in conversations in real life.
Another method that works well is shadowing. You listen to someone speaking in English, like a podcast or a video, and try to repeat what they're saying at the same time. It's great for pronunciation and fluency practice.
Yes, Jennifer, shadowing is an effective exercise. It helps you match the pace, intonation, and rhythm of native speakers, which can make your own speech sound more natural. It's like imitating the flow of English.
And it's okay if you don't catch every word perfectly. The idea is to stay in sync with the speaker as best as you can. Over time, your brain adapts to the speed and rhythm, making it easier to respond in conversations.
Exactly. Shadowing also builds listening skills. It forces you to stay focused on what you're hearing, and it's a great way to practice without worrying about making mistakes in front of others.
Thomas, another helpful approach is practicing storytelling. Try telling a story or explaining something in English, even if it's just to yourself. It could be about your day, a recent event, or even a fictional story.
Storytelling is excellent for building confidence, Jennifer. It lets you practice structuring thoughts and sentences. You're forced to think on your feet, which is great preparation for real conversations.
Yes, and it's a fun way to explore new vocabulary, too. As you describe events or details, you naturally introduce new words, which can expand your language skills. Plus, storytelling keeps your mind engaged.
And it doesn't have to be long. Even a simple story of what you had for breakfast can be useful. The idea is to get comfortable expressing ideas, which makes conversations feel more natural over time.
A final tip is to set aside time each day to practice speaking, even if it's only for a few minutes. Consistent daily practice builds confidence, and over time, you'll feel more comfortable using English.
That's right, Jennifer. Practice is key to improvement. Even just 5 to 10 minutes a day can make a big difference. You're building a habit that makes speaking feel less intimidating and more routine.
And as you make this a habit, it becomes part of your daily routine. That consistency is what helps reduce fear and builds a sense of ease, especially when you're faced with real-life conversations.
Exactly. The more you practice, the more natural it becomes. Regular practice turns speaking into something familiar, which is the best way to overcome fear and feel confident in English.
So, Thomas, if we summarize, overcoming the fear of speaking English is about practice, patience, and a positive mindset. Small, consistent steps make a big impact.
Yes, Jennifer, it's also about using a variety of techniques, whether it's shadowing, storytelling, or thinking in English. Each one contributes to a stronger, more confident English speaker.
And it's okay to feel nervous at first. Embracing that feeling and continuing to practice is what helps build lasting confidence. Every little effort adds up over time.
Absolutely. Language learning is a journey, and every conversation you have is a success, even if it's not perfect. The key is to keep going and enjoy the process of improvement.
One of the most important aspects of overcoming fear is to accept that making mistakes is part of the process. No one speaks a new language perfectly right away. It's through errors that we learn and grow. So instead of seeing mistakes as failures, we should view them as opportunities for improvement.
That's a great point, Jennifer. Mistakes are how we refine our skills. When we make a mistake, it means we're pushing our boundaries and challenging ourselves. It's easy to get discouraged by errors, but if you shift your mindset, you'll realize that each mistake is simply part of the learning process.
Exactly, Thomas. When you shift your mindset to a growth-focused one, it makes speaking English feel less stressful. Embrace the challenge, and remember, even fluent speakers make mistakes. It's the courage to keep speaking that leads to progress.
And when you look at mistakes that way, it becomes much easier to push through the fear. The more you practice, the fewer mistakes you'll make, and over time, speaking English will feel like second nature.
Another strategy that can help ease fear is to break down the speaking task into smaller, manageable parts. If you're going to a meeting, for example, focus on just a few sentences or words you want to use instead of trying to prepare for the entire conversation all at once.
That's right. By focusing on small chunks, you make the task less overwhelming. You don't need to have a perfect conversation from start to finish. Just concentrate on those key phrases or sentences that will help you communicate effectively in the moment.
Absolutely. It's all about taking it one step at a time. Don't put too much pressure on yourself to know everything. If you focus on using a few words or sentences well, you'll feel more confident in expressing yourself.
And once you've nailed those smaller phrases, you can gradually expand your vocabulary. This approach helps you build confidence slowly without feeling overwhelmed by the big picture.
It's also important to find a language buddy or a conversation partner. Having someone you can speak with regularly, who's supportive and patient, can make a huge difference. They'll help you practice in a low-pressure environment and give you helpful feedback.
Exactly, Jennifer. A language buddy can act as a safety net. When you practice speaking with someone you trust, the fear of making mistakes becomes less intense. You're creating a space where both of you can learn from each other and grow together.
And these conversations don't always have to be formal. Even casual chats, like talking about your day or discussing a recent event, can be valuable practice. This takes the pressure off, and you'll start to feel more comfortable in regular conversations.
Yes, Jennifer, the key is consistency. If you have a regular conversation partner, you're guaranteed to improve and build your confidence. It's like having a workout buddy who helps keep you accountable in your language learning journey.
Another great tip is to engage in positive self-talk. Often, our fear of speaking comes from negative thoughts or fears about what others will think. By practicing positive affirmations and reminding yourself of your progress, you can reduce those feelings of anxiety.
I agree with you. Jennifer, positive self-talk helps you stay motivated. When you focus on your successes rather than your perceived failures, you can push through the fear. Telling yourself, "I'm improving every day," can be a powerful motivator.
Exactly, Thomas. Positive reinforcement is essential to keeping your confidence up. Every time you speak, celebrate your progress, no matter how small it seems. You're one step closer to speaking more naturally in English.
And over time, these positive thoughts will become a habit. The more you remind yourself of your achievements, the less you'll fear speaking. You'll begin to feel more at ease in conversations because you've trained your mind to believe in your abilities.
Finally, let's not forget about relaxation techniques. When you're feeling nervous about speaking, try deep breathing or other relaxation exercises to calm your nerves before speaking. It helps to take a few moments to center yourself before engaging in conversation.
Great point, Jennifer. Relaxation is crucial. When we're nervous, we can forget to breathe, which increases anxiety. Taking deep, slow breaths can help you focus and approach the situation with a clearer mind. It's all about calming your body so your mind can stay focused.
And these techniques don't just help with speaking, they help with listening too. The more you can relax, the better you'll be able to understand the conversation and respond confidently. So take a deep breath before each interaction to prepare yourself mentally and physically.
Exactly. It's about creating a balanced environment. By combining relaxation with practice, you build a solid foundation of confidence that supports your speaking and listening abilities.
So, Thomas, to summarize everything we've talked about, overcoming the fear of speaking English is about practicing consistently, using techniques like positive self-talk, focusing on small steps, and embracing the learning process.
Yes, Jennifer, and it's also about being kind to yourself. Language learning is a journey, and we all face challenges. The key is to keep pushing forward, no matter how small the progress may seem. The more you speak, the more comfortable and confident you'll become.
That's right, Thomas. Every step you take, whether it's a small conversation or speaking in front of a group, is an achievement. Keep practicing and trust that the fear will eventually fade, leaving you with the confidence to speak freely in English.
Absolutely, Jennifer, and remember, the fear is a natural part of the process. The more you face it and continue practicing, the less control it will have over you. Soon, speaking in English will feel like second nature. Keep going.
Another important thing to remember is that confidence comes from repetition. The more you practice speaking English in real-life situations, the more comfortable you'll feel. Don't wait for the perfect moment to start speaking. Just dive in and start having conversations. Over time, you'll notice that the more you speak, the easier it gets. It's like any skill. Practice makes perfect.
Absolutely, Jennifer, the key to building confidence is immersing yourself in speaking opportunities. It could be as simple as speaking with a friend, asking questions in a store, or even practicing speaking aloud to yourself. With consistent effort, you'll start seeing results. Don't worry about being perfect, just focus on communication. Over time, fluency and confidence will naturally follow.
I completely agree. And you don't need to have long, complex conversations to improve. Start with shorter sentences or questions. For example, try to order food in English or talk about the weather. Little by little, you'll start noticing your progress, and that will motivate you to keep going.
Yes, Jennifer, once you gain confidence in shorter exchanges, you can challenge yourself to speak for longer periods. It's all about incremental growth. Gradually, you'll be able to hold more complex conversations and express yourself without hesitation. The most important thing is not to be afraid to make mistakes along the way.
Building confidence also means putting yourself in situations where you'll be forced to use English. This might sound intimidating at first, but it's a great way to push yourself. For example, if you're living in an English-speaking country, try speaking to locals at a cafe, in a store, or in any public setting. The more you expose yourself to these situations, the more comfortable you'll become.
Yes, Jennifer, taking those small risks can make a huge difference. It forces your brain to adapt to the language quickly, and it often leads to some funny and memorable moments that actually help with your learning. The more you put yourself in those uncomfortable situations, the more confident you'll feel. It's a process, but it's incredibly rewarding.
That's such a great point, Thomas. The discomfort you feel initially is simply part of the growth process. Think of it as stepping out of your comfort zone and embracing the challenge. It's that discomfort that will help you improve. The more you speak, the more natural it will become.
Exactly, Jennifer, and remember, those experiences won't just help you build confidence, they'll also help improve your listening skills. When you're interacting with real people, you're exposed to different accents, slang, and natural ways of speaking. It's one of the fastest ways to develop a deeper understanding of the language.
One more tip I want to share is visualization. Before speaking, take a moment to close your eyes and visualize yourself having a successful conversation. Picture yourself confidently expressing your thoughts and understanding the other person. This mental practice can have a significant impact on your real-world performance.
I love that technique, Jennifer. Visualization is such a powerful tool. It helps your brain get accustomed to the idea of success before you even speak. When you imagine yourself speaking confidently, it creates a positive mental picture that you can draw upon during actual conversations. It's a simple way to boost your self-belief.
And you don't have to visualize complex situations either. Start with a simple scenario, like introducing yourself or asking for directions. When you rehearse these smaller situations in your mind, you create a mental map for success. And the next time you find yourself in a similar situation, your confidence will feel much higher.
Exactly, Jennifer. The more you rehearse these mental scenarios, the more prepared you'll feel in real situations. It's like creating a safe space in your mind that allows you to feel comfortable and confident when speaking. You'll start to see that speaking English is just another part of your routine.
Let's not forget the power of setting small, achievable goals. Instead of thinking about mastering the entire language, focus on short-term goals that you can easily accomplish. For example, aim to speak with someone in English for just 5 minutes every day or learn 5 new phrases each week. These small wins add up and help you build confidence over time.
Yes, setting small goals helps make the process more manageable and less overwhelming. When you accomplish a goal, even a small one, it boosts your confidence and motivates you to set the next goal. Plus, it keeps your learning experience positive and less stressful. By keeping your goals realistic, you'll be able to celebrate progress regularly.
And the key to setting achievable goals is to break them down. Instead of focusing on speaking fluently in 6 months, start with a goal like introducing yourself or talking about your hobbies in English. Achieving these smaller goals will naturally lead to bigger successes over time.
Exactly, Jennifer. The important thing is consistency. It's not about achieving perfection overnight, but making steady progress. So, set a goal for each week, whether it's to learn new vocabulary or practice a specific sentence structure, and stick to it.
I also want to touch on the power of listening as a way to boost confidence. When you listen to native speakers, whether in movies, podcasts, or conversations, you're not only improving your comprehension, but you're also learning the rhythms and patterns of the language. This, in turn, can make you feel more confident when it's your turn to speak.
That's such an important point, Jennifer. Listening to real conversations helps you understand the flow of the language and exposes you to natural expressions, slang, and pronunciation. When you hear those in context, it makes it easier for you to use them confidently when speaking.
Exactly, Thomas. It also helps you prepare for what to expect in real-life conversations. You'll start to notice common phrases or ways that people respond to certain topics, which helps reduce the fear of not knowing what to say next. The more you listen, the better you'll be at participating in conversations.
And listening is a great way to build your confidence without pressure. As you get used to hearing natural conversations, you'll start feeling more familiar with the language, and eventually your fear of speaking will start to fade away. It's a gradual process, but it works.
To wrap up, overcoming the fear of speaking English is all about consistent practice, shifting your mindset, and being kind to yourself. As you continue to use techniques like positive self-talk, small goals, and visualization, you'll notice your confidence growing. Remember, it's a process, not an event.
Exactly, Jennifer. Fear will always be a part of the learning process, but the more you face it, the less control it will have over you. Embrace the mistakes, take small steps, and celebrate every bit of progress. Soon enough, you'll be speaking English with ease and confidence.
And always remember that speaking is a skill, and just like any skill, it improves the more you practice. Keep at it, keep pushing through the fear, and you'll see how much progress you've made.
You've got this. Keep practicing, keep challenging yourself, and most importantly, be patient with your progress. Confidence in speaking will come with time and effort, so get out there and start speaking.
Another great way to boost your confidence is by participating in language exchange groups or online forums. Engaging in these conversations, even in informal settings, helps you practice real-life speaking, and you can connect with others who are also learning. This social interaction helps reduce anxiety.
Absolutely, Jennifer. These environments are less formal and allow for trial and error without the pressure of being judged. Plus, when you speak with others who are also learning, you create a sense of mutual support. It makes you feel less alone in the process, and that can be a big confidence booster.
And let's not forget about online platforms like video calls. Speaking with native speakers in these environments gives you a chance to see and hear the language in action, and you can also receive immediate feedback. This practice helps improve your speaking ability and reduces self-consciousness over time.
Yes, Jennifer, real-time feedback is one of the best tools to overcome speaking anxiety. It allows you to identify areas of improvement and feel supported while you learn. Plus, it's a great confidence boost when you realize your mistakes are part of the learning process.
We should also talk about how self-compassion can play a huge role in boosting your speaking confidence. Often, learners are afraid of making mistakes or looking foolish. But remember, mistakes are part of the journey. Be kind to yourself and don't let the fear of error stop you from speaking.
That's so true. Jennifer, we're often our own harshest critics. It's important to approach the learning process with patience and self-kindness. When you make mistakes, take it as an opportunity to grow. Mistakes are evidence that you're trying and making progress, which is what matters most.
Exactly, Thomas. The more you forgive yourself for minor errors, the more comfortable you'll become with speaking. Over time, you'll build resilience and realize that mistakes are simply stepping stones towards fluency. Celebrate the progress rather than focusing on the flaws.
And this mindset shift can be really powerful. Instead of feeling discouraged after making a mistake, remind yourself that it's a natural part of language acquisition. The more you embrace mistakes, the more confident and comfortable you'll feel when speaking in English.
Something else that's really important is consistency. Building confidence takes time, and the key is to make speaking English a daily habit. Even if it's just for a few minutes, practicing every day helps you feel more comfortable and increases your overall fluency.
Definitely, Jennifer, the more consistent you are, the more natural speaking will become. Even if you don't feel like practicing some days, push through it and commit to a small practice session. Over time, these consistent efforts will pay off and significantly boost your confidence.
Consistency also helps you retain vocabulary and grammar better. When you practice regularly, you create muscle memory for certain phrases, and it becomes easier to recall them when you need them. This feeling of readiness helps you feel more confident in conversations.
Exactly. You'll notice that speaking becomes less intimidating because you'll have a mental database of phrases and responses to draw from. It won't feel like you have to search for words because you've already built up a strong foundation through daily practice.
In addition to practice, being prepared for common situations can make you feel more confident. For example, if you know you're going to have a conversation about a specific topic, take a few minutes to plan what you might say. This can reduce the stress of not knowing what to talk about.
That's a great point. Jennifer, being prepared helps take the pressure off in real-life situations. You don't have to memorize full conversations, but having some key phrases or responses ready can give you a sense of control. This small step can help reduce anxiety and increase confidence.
And it's not just about preparing what to say, it's also about preparing how to listen. If you know the context of a conversation, you can better understand what others are saying, which helps you respond more naturally. This two-way preparation builds confidence on both sides of the exchange. Another technique that's worked for many learners is recording yourself speaking. It might feel awkward at first, but listening to your own voice allows you to track your progress and see how much you've improved. Plus, it helps you become familiar with your speaking habits and areas for improvement.
That's a great tip, Jennifer. Recording yourself also helps you develop self-awareness. You can identify areas where you need to improve, like pronunciation or fluency. It's a tool that helps you monitor your growth, and the more you do it, the more confident you'll feel about your speaking abilities.
And Thomas, it's a great way to boost confidence because you can listen to yourself and celebrate the progress you've made. When you hear how far you've come, it can motivate you to continue practicing. Plus, it helps you get used to hearing your voice in a different language.
Exactly. In fact, recording yourself can help with pronunciation as well. You might notice subtle mistakes you didn't catch during live conversations. Listening to yourself can also help you perfect your intonation and rhythm, making your English sound more natural and confident.
We also have to remember that every conversation is a learning opportunity. Whether it's a short exchange at the grocery store or a longer discussion at work, each time you speak, you're practicing. So don't be afraid to engage in as many conversations as possible, no matter how small.
Yes, Jennifer, those small conversations can lead to big improvements. Even if the conversation is brief, each interaction helps you get more comfortable speaking. And every time you speak, you're putting into practice what you've learned, helping you build confidence and reduce fear.
It's also helpful to set mini challenges for yourself. For example, today you could focus on using a new word or phrase in a conversation. Challenges keep things interesting, and they give you a sense of achievement when you succeed. The more small wins you have, the more confident you'll feel.
Exactly, and even if you don't succeed in a challenge, just trying counts as progress. Learning is about embracing the process, and confidence comes with repeated efforts. So make those little challenges part of your routine and celebrate every success along the way.
Before we wrap up, I want to remind everyone that confidence doesn't happen overnight. It's a gradual process, but with persistence, it's absolutely achievable. Keep practicing, set goals, and be kind to yourself along the way. Overcoming fear is part of the journey.
Absolutely, Jennifer, the key is to stay consistent and patient with yourself. Remember, everyone goes through the process of overcoming fear when learning a new language, so you're not alone. With every step you take, you'll see your confidence grow. Keep it up, and don't give up.
So keep pushing yourself, keep practicing, and remember that each time you speak, you're making progress. Embrace the fear, face the challenges, and trust the process. Confidence in speaking English is within your reach.
Yes, you can do it. Stay motivated, keep speaking, and before you know it, you'll be speaking English with confidence and ease. We believe in you.
One last thing that's incredibly helpful for overcoming the fear of speaking English is visualization. Visualizing yourself speaking fluently and confidently can actually make a difference in your performance. Before you enter a situation where you'll need to speak, take a few moments to close your eyes and imagine yourself speaking with ease and clarity. This mental practice prepares your mind and can help you feel more prepared when the moment arrives.
That's a fantastic tip, Jennifer. Visualization is such a powerful tool in building confidence, and many successful people use it in different areas of their lives. When you imagine yourself speaking confidently, your mind starts to believe that scenario, making it feel more achievable. Even if it seems like a small exercise, practicing visualization consistently can make a big impact over time, and it helps you feel less anxious when you actually have to speak.
Exactly, Thomas. I think it's especially helpful for situations where you're nervous, like speaking in a meeting or introducing yourself to a group. If you've already visualized the experience in a positive way, your brain is a little more familiar with it, and you're less likely to freeze up. It can be a simple but very effective way to prepare for moments that would usually make you nervous.
Yes, and combining visualization with other techniques we've talked about today, like deep breathing and preparation, creates a powerful toolkit for handling speaking anxiety. The more tools you have, the more confident you'll feel, knowing that you have multiple ways to cope with any situation that comes your way. It's all about equipping yourself to face the fear, and in time, it becomes much easier.
I also think it's important to acknowledge that confidence in speaking isn't something that only comes with language skills. It's a mindset. You could be at an intermediate or even advanced level but still feel nervous if you don't believe in yourself. Working on building a positive mindset is just as important as practicing your vocabulary or grammar. When you start believing that you're capable, that belief shows up in how you speak and interact with others.
Absolutely, Jennifer, confidence is truly about believing in your own abilities, regardless of your skill level. I've seen learners who may not know every word or grammar rule but speak with confidence because they trust themselves. They focus on getting their message across instead of worrying about being perfect. That mindset shift can make a world of difference in how you present yourself. It allows you to focus on communication rather than perfection.
Yes, and it's also helpful to remember that most people you're speaking to aren't judging you on minor mistakes. They're listening to understand, not to critique. When you realize that people are often more supportive than we think, it takes away a lot of the fear. Shifting your mindset from I need to be perfect to I just need to communicate can transform your speaking experience.
Exactly, Jennifer. Communication is about connection, not perfection. If you're able to convey your thoughts and connect with others, that's what matters most. And I think when learners start focusing on the bigger picture, connecting with others, they naturally begin to feel more confident. Confidence grows when you focus on meaningful interactions rather than technicalities.
Another great way to strengthen your speaking confidence is by setting small, achievable goals. For example, if you're hesitant to speak in English, maybe start with just greeting people in English or asking simple questions like, "How are you?" As you get comfortable with these small steps, gradually increase the difficulty. This way, you're building confidence step by step, rather than overwhelming yourself by trying to dive into complex conversations right away.
I agree, Jennifer. Setting small, realistic goals makes the journey much more manageable and less intimidating. For many learners, starting with simple interactions can be the stepping stone they need. Once you feel comfortable with basic phrases, you gain momentum and can move on to longer conversations. This gradual approach helps you feel a sense of achievement at each step, which reinforces your confidence over time.
Absolutely, Thomas. When we set small goals and accomplish them, it creates a positive cycle of motivation. Each success makes you feel more capable, and that sense of accomplishment carries over to the next goal. It's like building a strong foundation one brick at a time. By the time you're ready for more advanced conversations, you already have a solid base of confidence to rely on.
And it's important to recognize and celebrate each of these milestones, no matter how small they may seem. Overcoming even a small fear of speaking can be a big deal, so acknowledging your progress is essential. Confidence isn't built overnight, but by consistently reaching your goals and celebrating each one, you're steadily building up a more confident version of yourself.
I also think it's helpful to spend time with people who encourage and support you. When you surround yourself with positive influences, it can help ease some of the pressure of speaking in English. Friends, family, or language partners who are patient and understanding can make you feel comfortable, allowing you to practice without fear of judgment. That supportive environment can make all the difference.
That's so true, Jennifer. Having a supportive circle can really boost your confidence, especially when you're starting out. Positive reinforcement from people who genuinely want to see you succeed can help you push past your fears. It also makes the learning experience more enjoyable, which encourages you to keep going even if you encounter challenges along the way.
Yes, and it doesn't have to be a large group. Even just one supportive person can make a huge impact. When someone believes in you, it can make you believe in yourself a little more. Practicing with people who give constructive feedback rather than focusing on mistakes helps you feel safe while still growing and learning.
Exactly. It's about creating an environment where you feel accepted and motivated. In a supportive setting, you're less likely to feel embarrassed if you make a mistake, and you're more open to taking risks in your speaking practice. Those risks are what ultimately help you grow, and the encouragement you get along the way makes the journey so much more rewarding.
Something else that can help boost your confidence is looking back at how far you've come. Keeping a journal or recording your practice sessions can be a great way to track your progress over time. When you feel discouraged or anxious, looking back at your earlier attempts can remind you of how much you've improved, which can motivate you to keep going.
I love that idea, Jennifer. Reflecting on past progress can be incredibly motivating. Often, we're so focused on what we still need to learn that we forget to acknowledge the progress we've already made. Seeing how much you've improved can shift your mindset from focusing on what's difficult to realizing how capable you really are. It's a great way to reinforce your confidence.
Exactly, Thomas. Plus, by tracking your growth, you can identify specific areas where you've improved, like pronunciation or fluency. This concrete evidence of progress can give you the confidence boost you need, especially during times when you feel stuck or frustrated. It's a reminder that your efforts are paying off even if you don't see results right away.
Yes, and celebrating those moments is key. Recognizing your progress isn't just about feeling good. It reinforces the idea that you're capable of growth. Every bit of improvement counts, and reflecting on your journey can inspire you to keep pushing forward. Confidence is built one step at a time, and looking back reminds you of all the steps you've already taken.
As we wrap up, remember that overcoming the fear of speaking English is a journey, and every step you take counts. Building confidence takes time, patience, and practice, but by using these techniques, you're giving yourself the tools to succeed.
That's right, Jennifer. Fear of speaking is normal, but it doesn't have to hold you back. With each small win, you're becoming a stronger and more confident communicator. Just keep going and be proud of every bit of progress.
Thanks for joining us today. We hope these tips help you feel more comfortable and excited about speaking English. Keep practicing, stay positive, and we'll see you in the next episode.
Absolutely. Take care and keep speaking with confidence.